The surprising transformation of a person before the 6 statues and Our Lady, an event that turned her world upside down, teaches us that the divine presence is always ready to welcome us in its immense compassion and mercy. If you or someone you know needs a miracle or a word of hope, know that this story is an invitation to reflection, an open window to the impossible that becomes possible when faith is kindled. And speaking of faith and hope, I invite you right now to write in the comments the names of people and relatives who need prayer. We will include each of these names in our main prayer with the Holy Rosary, asking for the necessary blessings and intercession. In a sanctuary of faith that welcomes people from all corners of the world, with different ethnicities, cultures, and life stories, but united by a single purpose: prayer. There, the air is so palpable that you can almost breathe the faith. Every sigh is a plea, every murmur a song that ascends to the heavens. It is a place where the energy of devotion creates a unique atmosphere of peace and hope, a true spiritual oasis that manifests itself not only in the hearts of pilgrims but also in the beauty and sacredness of its spaces. Amidst this sacred land, between verdant hills and paths that echo with the footsteps of thousands of pilgrims, there is a specific point that serves as a link between the earthly and the divine, where the sacred reveals itself in its most tangible form, inviting all to connect with something greater, something that transcends human understanding and is rooted in the pure surrender of faith. In this place of profound faith, there is a small corner, like a garden, where spiritual beauty is translated into art and reverence. 6 statues of saints, venerable figures who mark the history of Christianity with their dedication and love, stand majestically, like silent sentinels of faith. But amidst this constellation of holiness, one image in particular dominates the scene and the hearts of the devotees. A statue of Our Lady, serene, with her gaze of tenderness, seemingly embracing all who approach. In this space, prayer flows freely, a constant chant that blends individual and collective supplications, filling every cubic centimeter of the air with an energy so intense it seems to touch the soul. Devotion to Our Lady is felt in every corner, in every tear shed and in every lit candle, creating a sanctuary of hope where Mary's maternal presence seems to envelop everyone in a mantle of love and protection, as if each believer could feel her consoling embrace and powerful intercession. It was in this environment of intense spirituality, filled with supplications and praises, that a solitary figure stood out amidst the crowd of worshippers. She was not someone with an exuberant countenance of faith, nor did she carry in her gestures the lightness of a heart already at peace. On the contrary, her expression resembled an open book of weariness and skepticism, as if the weight of the world rested on her shoulders, and her presence there was more a last shred of hope than solid conviction. She observed the activity, the rosaries being recited, the tears streaming down relieved faces, and the comforting hugs exchanged between strangers, but nothing seemed to truly penetrate the barrier of her disillusionment. She didn't pray like the others, her hands weren't clasped in prayer, and her gaze wandered, seemingly distant, as if her heart were elsewhere, still bound by the bonds of pain and questioning that had brought her to that sacred place, searching for something she herself couldn't name. However, as the afternoon grew longer and the sun began to cast golden shadows over the statues, something subtle yet profoundly meaningful began to stir within her. It wasn't an audible voice or a spectacular vision, but a faint beckoning, an almost imperceptible impulse that drew her specifically to the statue of Our Lady. Her feet began to move, slow and hesitant at first, as if each step were a victory against an invisible force that bound her to the ground, to her past, to her pain. As she approached, the murmur of prayers around her seemed to fade, and the outside world lost its volume, as if the space between her and the Heavenly Mother were being sanctified, becoming an exclusive stage for the great transformation that was about to take place. There was something undeniable in the Virgin's compassionate gaze that seemed to call her directly, disarming every resistance, breaking down every wall she had built around herself. Finally, this person, who moments before had been burdened with so much affliction and questioning, knelt at the feet of the statue of Our Lady. The act of kneeling was more than a physical gesture. It was an act of complete surrender, of surrendering her entire being. Her hands, previously idle or crossed in skepticism, now embraced the statue's cold feet with unexpected urgency and affection, as if she found there the only safe haven in a world of uncertainty. And then it happened. The barriers crumbled, not in the form of a great uproar or a thunderous event, but in a silent torrent of tears that washed away the pain, regret, fear, and disillusionment that had so long accompanied her. In that moment of pure surrender and vulnerability, a feeling of overwhelming peace flooded her heart, an inexplicable warmth filling every fiber of her being. And with it, an unbelievable conversion, a profound transformation that came from the core of his soul, where faith, previously absent, now welled up with unshakable, crystalline strength, filling every void and bringing new meaning to his existence. This conversion was not just a moment of emotion. It was a milestone, the definitive turning point in his journey, the dawn of a new life. Anyone who observed that person after that embrace at Our Lady's feet would see a previously absent sparkle in his eyes, a serene smile replacing an expression of pain, and a lightness in his countenance that denoted a liberated soul. It was not a superficial change, but a profound transformation that reverberated in every gesture and every word, for the void had been filled and hope, which had seemed a distant dream, had now become a concrete reality in his heart. What happened there, before those statues in the presence of Our Lady, was a silent testimony that, no matter how broken or lost we may feel, divine love is capable of rebuilding, healing, and bringing light to even the darkest nights of our souls. It is a powerful reminder that faith has the power to completely renew us, offering a path to peace and a renewed purpose in life, beginning with a personal and unforgettable encounter with the sacred. This person's story invites us to reflect on our own lives, on the difficulties we face daily, and on the immense need to keep our faith alive. Just as she found solace and transformation in that sacred place, we are called to seek this profound connection every day, in our homes, in our churches, in the silence of our hearts. May the preaching of love, forgiveness, and peace become our constant attitudes, seeking the daily conversion of our hearts and that of many others, always having greater faith and believing in the transformative power of prayer. We cannot expect a miracle in Medjugorje if we do not cultivate prayer, compassion, and the search for a peaceful heart in our daily lives. It is from this seed planted and watered daily that great fruits of faith, joy, and healing can emerge in our own lives and in the lives of those around us. Therefore, I invite you once again to join us in prayer. Comment now with the names of all those who need a prayer, so that we can include them in our main prayer with the Rosary, asking that Our Lady's intercession reach everyone. May this narrative resonate in your heart, and may the depth of the theme, the transformation that began in front of the 6 statues and Our Lady, bring you a new perspective on the power of faith and surrender. We would love to hear your thoughts on this story, which part touched you most or which message stood out to you most. So, leave your comment below. Your opinion is very important to us. If you enjoyed this message and want to continue receiving inspiring content like this, don't forget to like this video and, most importantly, subscribe to our channel to be part of this faith community and receive our upcoming publications. Also, activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Your participation is what motivates us to continue spreading this light and hope to even more people. May God and Our Lady bless you and your entire family.